friends, welcome back to Medico Srinjoy. Today we'll study a very short but important topic, that is the periodontal ligament. So friends, what do you mean by the periodontal ligament? Comment this in the comment box and I will try to answer your comment. Next we'll learn the different names of the periodontal ligament. Periodontal ligament are also called as the gomphosis, alveodental ligament, dental periosteum, periodontal membrane, desmodont, and pericementum. You need to remember all these names, okay? Next, the thickness of the periodontal ligament is between 0.15 to 0.38 millimeter, and that it is thinner at the middle. Also, the thickness of the periodontal ligament decreases with aging, and the permanent teeth has short periodontal ligament that the deciduous teeth. Next, there is a very important question. What do you mean by periodontium? Periodontium is nothing but the connective tissue organ tissue which is covered by the epithelium that attaches the teeth to the bone of the jaws and provide continually adapting apparatus for the support of the tooth during functioning. This is a definition of periodontium. And in simple language, we can say that the periodontium is of two types, the fibrous tissue and the mineralized tissue. The fibrous tissue comprises of the gingiva and the periodontal ligament, while the mineralized tissue consists of the cementum and the alveolar bone. Let's revise the definition once more. That what do you mean by periodontium? Periodontium is a connective tissue organ which is covered by the epithelium that attaches the teeth to the bone of the jaws and provide continually adapting apparatus for the support of the tooth during the function. Next, we'll study the cellular elements of the periodontal ligament. First, we have the synthetic cells, which are the fibroblast, osteoblast, and the cementoblast. Next, we have the resorptive cells, which are osteoclast, cementoclast, and the fibroblast. Third, we have the defensive cells, which are the macrophages, eosinophils, and the mast cells. Fourth, we have the progenitor cells, and finally, fifth, we have the epithelial cell rest of Malassez. Next, we'll study each of these in the upcoming slides one by one. Let's start with the first one, that is the synthetic cells. Synthetic cells can be of three types, that is the fibroblast, osteoblast, and the cementoblast. First, let's study the cementoblast. Cementoblasts are the primary cells of the periodontal ligament and they produce the collagen fibers. They have the extensive cytoplasm, abundant organelles, and the nucleus is occupied the whole volume of the cell. Next, we have the osteoblasts. Osteoblasts are the bone forming cells. So, these are the bone forming cells which covers the periodontal surface of the alveolar bone. These osteoblasts are the cuboidal in shape and have the round basal nucleus. Third, we have the cementoblast. So cementoblasts are nothing but they deposit the cellular cementum, and these cementoblasts are the cuboidal in shape and have large vesicular nuclei and have the basophilic cytoplasm and cytoplasmic processes. So this ends the synthetic cells. Next, we will move on to the resorptive cells. These resorptive cells are of three types, that is the osteoclast, cementoclasts, and the fibroblast. Friends, never ever try to say about the fibroclast. There is nothing, any cell present in our body which is called fibroclast. Both fibroblast has the ability to make and regenerate the collagen fibers. So fibroblast is also a synthetic cells and a resorptive cells. First, we will study the osteoclasts. Osteoclasts are the cells which resorb the bone. They have large cells and are multinucleated and have eosinic cytoplasm. Part of the plasma membrane which lie adjacent to the bone is resorbed and are lie in the fold, which is called the Ruffeld border. And here the underlying cytoplasm is devoid of organelles and are called the clear zone. These two terms, the Ruffeld border and the clear zone, are very much prominently asked in the Viva question. So please try to remember that these are the linked with the osteoclast. Next, we will study the fibroblast. These fibroblast cells degenerate the collagen by fibroblast phagocytosis. It leads to the fast turnover of the collagen in the periodontal ligament. Next, we have the osteoclasts. So what are these osteoclasts? Osteoclasts resembles cells and these are seen in the normal functioning periodontal ligament. So these cells resembles like osteoclast and they seen in the normal function of the periodontal ligament. Let's revise that the cementoblasts are the cementum forming cells which form the cellular cementum, while the cementoclasts are the cells which are found in the normal functioning PDL and they resembles like osteoclasts. Next, we have the defense cells. These are macrophages, eosinophils and mast cells. First, let's study about the macrophages. In PDL, the phagocytes the dead cells and secrete growth factors which regulate the proliferation of the adjacent fibroblasts. These macrophages lie adjacent to the blood vessels in the periodontal ligament. Next, we have the eosinophils. What does this eosinophils do? This may undergo phagocytosis, and these eosinophils are occasionally seen in the periodontal ligament. So these are rarely seen in the periodontal ligament. Next, we have the mast cells. This mast cell releases histamine. So the mast cell releases histamines, which plays an important role in the inflammatory reaction. So these mast cells play an important role in the inflammatory reaction. These mast cells also play important role in regulating the endothelial and the fibroblast cell population. So these play an important role in regulating endothelial and the fibroblast cell population. The third is already the defense cells. The fourth is the progenitor cells. These progenitor cells in the periodontal ligament are responsible for the tissue homeostasis and they lead to the regeneration of the synthetic cells. So these are the homeostasis providing cells in the periodontal ligament and these are called as the progenitor cells. Next, we move on to the epithelial cell rest of analysis. This is also a very important question for the Viva. That is, what do you mean by the cell rest of analysis? These cell rest of analysis are nothing but the remnants of the Hartwig epithelial root sheath. Don't confuse it with the epithelial cell rest of series. The epithelial cell rest of series is the remnant of the dental lamina, but the epithelial cell rest of analysis are the remnants of the Hartwig epithelial root sheath. When the certain pathological conditions are present, these Hartwig epithelial the cells of the malaces can undergo the rapid proliferation, produce a variety of cysts. Cysts like periapical cysts and tumors and are unique in the jaws. These cysts and tumors are the unique in the jaws. Also, they are less numerous in the older individuals and more in children. Next, we move on to the very important part of today's lecture, that is the fibers of periodontal ligament. There are mainly three types of fibers, that is the collagen fibers or the principal fibers or the dentoalveolar fibers. Next, we have the axillary fibers, and third, we have the oxytylin fiber. First, we will study the principal fibers of periodontal ligament, and this is the most important fiber present in the periodontal ligament. This is often asked in the 3-marker or 5-marker question in the university exams. So let's study this in detail. These fibers are the periodontal fibers, which is the principal fibers of the periodontal ligament, exit the cementum and alveolar bone proper to form the PTL. This further divided into 5 types, that is the alveolar crest fiber, horizontal fiber, oblique fiber, apical fiber and the interradicular fiber. First, let's study the alveolar crest fiber. These alveolar crest fibers are the cervical root in alveolar crest and the alveolar bone proper, and it functions as that it resists vertical and the intrusive force. Next, we have the horizontal fiber group. These horizontal fiber groups run perpendicular from the midroot to the adjacent alveolar bone proper, and it resists horizontal and the tipping forces. Third, we have the oblique fiber. So these oblique fibers are the most numerous, and they run obliquely from the apical 1/3 of the root to the adjacent alveolar bone. The function is that it resists the vertical masticatory forces and the intrusive forces. Next, we move on to the apical fiber. So what does this apical fiber do? This apical fiber resists the vertical forces, and these are located in the apex of the root to fundic proper. So these are present at the apex of the root to the fundic proper, and it resists the vertical forces. So apical fiber are present at the apex of the root to the fundic proper, and it resists the vertical forces. The fifth one is the interradicular fiber group, and these are located in between the interradicular septum of the root to the alveolar bone proper. So these are located between the interradicular septum of the root to the alveolar bone proper, and it resists the vertical and the lateral movement. This ends the principal fibers. Next we will move on to the accessory fibers. These accessory fibers includes the gingival fibers and the transseptal fiber. We will learn these two fibers in our upcoming videos of the oral mucosa, so get tuned. Next we will have the oxytocin fibers. These oxytocin fibers are the immature elastic fibers. So these oxytocin fibers are the immature elastic fibers which presents inside the periodontal ligament. So these are present inside the periodontal ligament, and they play a part in supporting blood vessels of the periodontal ligament and also in the tooth support. So in simple words, these oxytocin fibers are the elastic fibers which play a role in blood vessels and tooth support. Next we will learn about the ground substances of the PDL. Periodontal ligament has 8 ground substances. These are proteoglycans, glycoproteins, hyaluronate, glycosaminoglycans, many nerves, blood vessels, lymphatics, and the cementicles. So remember these eight substances found in the ground substance of PDL. These are proteoglycans, glycoproteins, hyaluronate, glycosaminoglycans, nerves, blood vessels, lymphocytes, and cementicles. Next, we will move on to the functions of PDL. There are mainly 5 functions of PDL. These are very important for the university exams. This often comes as a 10 marker or 5 marker. So let's start. First function is a supportive function. The numerous collagen fibers that occurs in the PDL act as the cushion to withstand the force of mastication. Whenever a tooth is moved in its socket, the periodontal ligament gets compressed and provides support to the tooth. Next function is the sensory function. The PDL is richly innervated and has excellent proprioceptive mechanism. What does this proprioceptive mechanism? The PDL helps in identifying the slightest amount of force that is applied to the tooth. So proprioception refers to the information that provide about the position and movement of the body parts by its receptors. Also in PDL, it consists of Ruffini's ending, which pauses the proprioception and helps in localization of the pain. This mechanism has protective effect and as well as the supporting structures. PDL also contains the nerve endings. These are free nerve endings which are tree-like and are responsible for carrying pain sensation and performing mechanoreceptor function. Next we have the third function, that is homeostatic function. The cells of the periodontal ligament have the capability to synthesize and resolve the extracellular substances of the cellular tissue ligament and alveolar bone proper and cementum. If this balance between the synthesis and resorption is disturbed, it will lead to the loss of attachment and between tooth, such as occur in the scurvy due to the deficiency of vitamin C in the diet. Next, we'll move on to the fourth functions of the periodontal ligament, which is the nutritive function. The periodontal ligament got blood vessels which provide anabolites and other substances which are required for the cells. So the blood vessels of the PDL provide anabolites. Also, the blood vessels are concerned with the removal of catabolites. So it both provide anabolite and remove catabolite from the tooth. Next, we have the fourth and the last function, that is the eruptive function. The cells, vascular elements, and the extracellular matrix proteins of the periodontal ligament causes the eruption of the tooth, and the PDL provide the space and act as a medium for the cellular remodeling and causes eruption of the tooth. Next, there are some questions which are very often asked in the viva. The first question is, what is myofibroblast? So what do you mean by the myofibroblast? These myofibroblasts are nothing but in appearance it resembles fibroblast, but it consists of contractile proteins like the actin and the myosin in the large amount. So myofibroblast can be called as fibroblast and smooth muscles. Both properties are present in this myofibroblast. They are contractile cells and play an important role in morphogenesis, organogenesis, inflammations, wound healing, and fibrosis in most organs and tissues. In periodontal ligament, it provides contractile force which is required for the movement of the teeth. Next question, which is very important in Viva, that is, what are cementicles? Cementicles represent the areas of dystrophic calcification. These are mainly seen in the old individuals, and they may remain free in the connective tissue or may fuse with a large calcified mass, or they may be joined with the cementum. There is one more very important question which comes in Viva in clinical perspective, that is, what is periodontitis? This is a very common question asked in Viva. So this is a type of disease. This is a chronic inflammatory disease of the periodontium. Next, what is the cause of this disease? This is caused due to the dental plaque and its toxic products. And what are the effects of this disease? This leads to the PDL destructions. It also leads to the formation of periodontal pockets, which makes the tooth mobile, and in future it gets the tooth loss. So friend, it ends our today's lecture of periodontal ligament. Next day we will learn about the salivary gland. So friends, if you like my videos, then please subscribe the channel and share this with your friend and share knowledge. Thank you.